Hey everybody, and welcome here to the IESF World Championships. My name is Cryptic. I'm here with the one and only Neff, dude. It feels good to have you by my side again. It's been a hot minute, man. How are you?
It's been a couple of months. I'm doing pretty good. Researched the patch, did some research on a couple of these teams, and I'm excited to cast some Dota that a lot of the time these people wouldn't otherwise be able to play. Why don't you tell people what the match that we have coming up is?
It's gonna be a fun one, man. We've got some good Dota. It's gonna be Ecuador taking on Guatemala here in our first series of the qualifiers, and we can go ahead and take a look at these teams in a moment. But there's been some Dota played already today. We can take a look at how those results have come through as well. We did have one reschedule, but Ecuador looking pretty good. Spoiler alert.
That's right. They've already come off of a quick 2-0 so far today. Both matches under 30 minutes, in fact. That's some impressive stuff. And unfortunately for Guatemala, it's at a glance looking like this series too could go out that way because, again, I said I did my research before these matches. MMR a little bit skewed between these two countries, it looks like.
It would seem so, just a little bit. It could just be that Team Ecuador is like a little bit of a powerhouse, like a maybe like there's not as much. Maybe there's just more Dota players there than we expected. I mean, when it comes to South America, the big hubs have always been Peru and Brazil, but Ecuador, I mean, they got some strong players, it seems.
hmm a couple of the powerhouses from the region aren't playing today, though. Those ones being, I believe, Sladen and Subas from both from Ecuador. Subas is actually the stand-in for Team Ecuador here, but he is not going to be playing today, unfortunately. He has a DPC team, No Pain, that he's playing on, so I imagine he's prioritizing that over representing the country in IESF. But this team looking pretty strong regardless of that.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Should be fun. I'm excited to see how this ends up playing out. Guatemala, they'll see, what it's like to play against maybe one of the stronger teams here in the qualifiers. I think right now Ecuador is probably the favorites. We haven't been able to see all of these teams play, but from some of that preliminary research, Ecuador does seem like a pretty good team.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess while we're talking about Ecuador, what we can do is actually take a look at their roster. So let's go and introduce you guys to the team here. This is going to be Ecuador, and like Neff and I have been talking about, they're strong, man. Punisher, one position, definitely something that one of those players that they're going to have to keep their eye on, look out for sure. Tell us about some of these other ones.
We got Songs, who is a support player for the team. When I was looking into them, he is ranked 554 on the Americas leaderboard. He had the most games out of everybody played. He's been playing a lot of Techies and Lich recently. Can't say I'm a huge fan of Techies players. You either. I know you've been playing a lot of games. Yeah, a lot of Techies recently coming out of him. And, Universal Heroes just popping off this patch, so I imagine he's going to pop off this game.
Yeah. It would make sense, right? I mean, if you want to win as a support player right now in this patch, it's as simple as picking Techies. It is actually that simple. It's ridiculous. Unless it's banned, and then, what can you do? Then you have to go down to a different universal hero. But Techie seems pretty dang strong.
Yeah. And some of the other players in the team, of course, like Fumac, being the mid laner for the team. Punisher was, again, the carry. ZPP, I believe, is the offlaner. When I was trying to find data on the last player, Zeno, it looked like he was an offlaner as well, but I just couldn't find enough pub data on him, unfortunately. Some of these players obviously hiding their Dota buffs to make it a little bit more difficult for their opponents to ban out some of their favorite picks. So we'll see if that ends up paying off here against Team Guatemala. Yeah.
Unforgivable. Well, speaking of Guatemala, let's go ahead and take a look at this team now. As you did bring them up, might as well go ahead and take a look at their team. And again, the team Ecuador is pretty strong. Guatemala, they're maybe not at the same level, but they still have a chance, right? I mean, Dota is a very complex game. Maybe they've got some secret strats pulling from them behind. But Neff, go ahead and talk to us about some of these players.
I just go top to bottom real quick. Venti, he's an Ancient 4 support player. Celsius, he is a Divine 5 offlaner. A Divine 4 carry player. Static, he is a support at Ancient 3. And finally, Maritox? I hope I didn't butcher that one. Divine 2 mid laner. Maritox, that's right.
Maritox, you got it. So as you can see, like a little bit of an MMR difference. Whether or not if this is a team that has played together quite a bit, it does come down to cohesion in Dota to an extent, right? Like I've seen a lot of teams like lose to much worse teams just because they've been playing together longer and they have a little bit more experience. I mean, most recently, in just the NA quals, there was a lot of drama that came out from that, but a lot of people thought Grin had no ability to beat some of these like all-star teams, that had pretty established players, but they've been playing together for a while. They end up taking the first place in the qual. So maybe we could do something like that. If Guatemala has some experience under their belts, maybe we'll see them do something pretty cool here.
I'm not sure they have as much experience as Ecuador, because again, when I was doing research, it seems like these guys have been playing a couple of these IESF tournaments and other things like that with each other. So I'm kind of with Ecuador here, but I love an underdog story. They don't have MMR on their side, but a great man once said, "MMR is just a number, Ricky."
Yeah, do you remember who that was? Was that in the Art of War? I believe it was written in the
it was either Sun Tzu or Dendi, one of the two of them.
One or the other. Okay, you can never
both
tell.
Great tacticians, obviously.
But I'm excited for this game. It should be fun. I'm really just curious to see what we're going to see in terms of like drafts and picks, if we're going to see anything out of the ordinary, if we're going to be sticking mostly on meta, because this is a patch that is, I think, relatively engraved in stone already. Like there is very small like flexibility in terms of drafts, I think, nowadays. Like less so than any of our previous patches for quite a while. So we'll see, if these teams want to kind of try something new or think outside the box. I don't know. What do you think?
I think that there's still a lot of versatility in this patch. We shift more and more towards just copying what these tier 1 teams do in these major tournaments, I feel. But this patch is still relatively new, so I think there's a lot that these teams, especially the lower levels, have as far as like their preferences.
All right. Well, we'll go ahead and see what their preferences are as we can go ahead and jump on into the draft now. We can see what both these teams are cooking up here. And so interesting thing here is we looked at some of the drafts from these teams earlier. Ecuador loves the Keeper of the Light, and even though they have first pick, they actually go ahead and ban it out. So maybe it's not something that they've been wanting to first phase, and they're more worried about Guatemala taking it. But either way, Ecuador does have the overall first pick, whereas Guatemala will have second pick in Dire.
So, in my opinion, I think these people are going to open with their favorite heroes. Okay, we're going to start this one off with the techies right off the bat. I mean, I was talking about this one before the match even started. It looks like they waste absolutely no time. For some people, they're going to be a fan favorite. For others, they're going to be an enemy of everyone watching this tournament right now.
Yeah, Techies is one hell of a hero, man. I don't really know how to feel about it, to be honest. Like this, I feel like this hero never loses. Obviously, that's like a little bit of like my own bias. Like every time I see Techies in a game, like this hero is just crushing lanes so heavily, and he transitions really well. He ends up being one of the highest damage heroes. I think it's one of the highest average damage per game of any hero in Dota right now, and he is a 4 position, which is just so nuts.
Yeah, it is absolutely insane. And they counter it out by immediately picking up a disruptor. I feel like it's a decent pick against it. If Techie like comes in, tries to drop a blast off on someone, as long as you control the area with the static storm, he's not gonna be able to follow up with anything. So it does make Techie's game a little bit difficult as far as actually getting in there. And it is something that Venti has been playing a reasonable amount of. Lots of disruptor on his most played heroes, and they follow up with a Nyx Assassin.
I'm okay with this. I like the Nyx pick here. I think this is pretty good. It
is
one of those
something
heroes
Static's
that
been
like
playing a lot lately.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say it is one of those heroes that, like, to some extent is. How do I word this? I don't want to say it's a.
Very annoying.
It's not like a gotcha pick, not like a cheese pick, like it used to, like how like certain things are. I think right now Nyx Assassin is really strong in terms of his burst potential, but it is one of those heroes that does not play well from behind. I feel like Nyx always has to be in the lead to really feel the power of this hero, and that's what worries me being up against Ecuador, is picking a hero like that.
In your opinion, did you think Nyx Assassin took a huge hit from these stun reductions, because all of a sudden his impale was reduced from 2.6 to 2, and his spike carapace stun duration was decreased from 2 to 1.6. So he's got like between his two spells like a full second less of stun time on people.
Yeah, Earthshaker would like to have a word, actually. A
Yeah,
hero
poor
whose
hero.
entire kit is stuns, and now he just can't even stun lock people between Enchant Totem and Fissure. Yeah, it's, I mean, heroes that were heavily stun based are getting a lot less picked, right? Nyx Assassin, I think, is the exception just because of the way Mind Flayer works and just the change to universal heroes. Like, with a couple basic stat items, he comes out of Vendetta doing substantially more damage with just his first auto attack than he did previously. And Mind Flayer doesn't care about the type of damage that you deal. It just will give an extra 30% amp onto everything. So pure damage, physical damage, and spell damage all amped by this hero. So I think that's why it's one of those things that like Nyx Assassin is picked here and there. But it definitely, like I said, it worries me picking it up against a team that I would say is probably favored to win, just because this is not a hero that plays from behind. Like he's so item dependent, in my opinion.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just laughing to myself here. I'm looking at my notes that I have written out here, and Team Ecuador, their carry player, his most played heroes recently are like Slark, Magnus, and Anti-Mage. So this team has clearly done their research as well, just trying to block absolutely everything that Punisher enjoys playing. And they grab a Medusa.
They take his Medusa too. He played Medusa earlier today in their first series, and so a little bit of a deny pick, but they won. Yeah, he was free farmed completely. He also played Alchemist earlier, so he has played Medusa earlier today, both with a lot of success. Now, this game you could opt for an actual mana burn hero, something like a Phantom Lancer here, if you really wanted to still play into the Medusa. But you do have to consider that you can flex this Medusa to the off lane, and then you're suddenly baited into potentially a bad core matchup if they go for something else. So I don't think you want to pick your carry here. I think you want to try and get some more info out of Guatemala's draft. Pick your second support, like your 5 position, and go from there. The Void Spirit, generally, in my opinion, just the best mid lane hero in Dota right now, outside of maybe Wind Ranger. But for the most part, this hero is absolutely insane.
Yeah, these universal heroes, especially the ones that just like jump around the team fights, just so much burst damage. It's insane. You can build almost anything on it. So it's going to go to work here. And they pick up Shadow Demon immediately afterwards. This is going to be an excellent save, because there is fairly big punish for the Void Spirit coming out of like the Nyx Assassin stun or the Static Storm to follow that one up. You drop a disruption on him, Void Spirit's able to get off like a BKB or Yules instead of getting chain stunned. It's going to be an amazing save that can let the Void Spirit just continue to play super aggressive.
So one thing to also,
Medusa.
Yeah, I was gonna say one thing to consider is like Medusa just owns in team fights, and just getting to take the Medusa and have it for yourself just in the form of the Shadow Demon illusions is really strong. And so they will take Brew here.
This is one of Excelsius's most played heroes as well. I think it's like his second most played of all time, just behind the Nature's Prophet, which I don't see very much of in this patch, so not surprised they would fall back on something that they're super comfortable with here.
I'm really curious now, because if you're running Brew Nyx Assassin lane, that feels pretty rough. So my guess is it's going to be Brew Disruptor and Nyx Assassin in front of the Medusa bottom. But that Nyx will definitely struggle against the Beastmaster Techies lane. Like, Nyx Assassin has always been considered one of like the weakest lane heroes. And now you're playing it into what is arguably one of the strongest lanes in all of Dota. So it's gonna be a rough one. And the only lane that's like actually that's like probably scary to play into would be Doom Techies. But they go for the Beastmaster just for the, I would guess, the early mid game tempo and the vision that it provides.
Yeah.
They do ban out the PL though, so that would anticipate probably it being a core Medusa.
It looks like they're just probably going to target the enemy team's mid laner. They get rid of the Storm Spirit here. Again, it would go pretty well with like jumping from the Nyx Assassin, so it's something they want to avoid. and they get rid of the Ember Spirit as well. Not something that I had listed as what their mid player played a ton of. Queen of Pain and Bounty Hunter are two things. The Bounty was kind of surprising to me when I looked that one up, but it's possible the Queen of Pain comes out here from Mari Talks. And if not that, we actually have a Tinker player on our hands. This person has played a lot of Tinker.
Dude, I mean, Tinker is... It's a good hero sometimes. I think right now it is definitely a little hit or miss. I think it does have to be played with a vision provider, and that is the one thing that you're probably lacking, right? I guess you technically have like Nyx Assassin to run around.
Yeah,
Disruptor could get a shard and stuff like that, but yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think what you could even take mid into the Void Spirit. That hero is just a free win. It's got to be the Queen of Pain. That's the only other hero. But then you're running a stunless mid lane, so it's a little bit rough. Maybe you can go Puck. You can go Puck or Queen of Pain here, maybe.
So we'll see what Team Ecuador goes for here. They've got 55 seconds of reserve time left. Again, they got heavily targeted by carry bans here. The last three ones are just heroes that pick up Diffusal Blades that are fairly good against Medusa, I would say. There is a couple of heroes that they do still play here on Punisher. Monkey King is one of his favorite heroes that hasn't been banned out yet, so I wouldn't be surprised if they just went for that, but they go for the Terror Blade instead.
I don't mind this. I think like they're anticipating just playing on a higher skill level here, and Terror Blade is one of those heroes where it's like, if you're just not as an efficient farmer, like if you're not on an even playing field, the Medusa just will fall so far behind. And Illusion heroes just make it, I would say in general, are really, really, really difficult for like lower level players to deal with, right? Like, because you kind of just get choked out of the map and you never find the real hero, and then he's just farming item after item. So I think the Terrorblade is probably a pretty safe pick here. It's a really easy lane for him for the most part. Like, he doesn't have too much to worry about. You now have the Shadow Demon to make sure the Terrorblade shouldn't get locked down. So I like it.
Yeah,
safe Sunder always.
We'll see what they follow up here with or counter the TB with. Do you think they just need more things to chase this TB around the map? They have it a little bit difficult to begin with from having a Medusa on their team, somebody who's going to be farming the first part of the game. But you do have a Nyx Assassin, so you pair that with someone who does like jumping around, like the Queen of Pain I was talking about. You could potentially shut down this Terrorblade, but you will have to play ultra aggressive, which might be hard.
You need a really high damage mid laner here. Okay, it's not a super high damage mid laner, but you could run the Medusa mid and take Doom to the safe lane. And of course, like you said, it will be Excelsius taking the Brewmaster to the off lane, and it will be Maritox taking the Doom mid. So nothing I mean, Doom mid is definitely strange. I don't know how well it's going to pay off against the Void Spirit, because Void Spirit does just have like the highest damage scaling per level of almost any hero in Dota. And he just gets so tanky. He farms super fast. Doom, I think you just have to max Scorched Earth here and try and shove the Void Spirit and go for like an early... Man, do you even go Midas here? I don't know, man. What do you think?
I mean, yeah, I don't think you should draw this game out. The way this goes, I think Medusa will be kind of strong in the mid-late game, but once you go ultra late, I think this will start to favor Team Ecuador again. I'm a little bit worried about like this illusion spam, like you mentioned, shoving in these lanes, constantly dealing with the split pushing. Nyx Assassin's going to have his work cut out for this him for sure. So I don't think you go for Midas is my answer to that one. I think you just try to play as fast and aggressive as possible, shut down this Terrorblade, build your early BKB to just like be as aggressive as you can onto the TB.
It's gonna be the Mana Boots Vanguard build, disassembled Octarine, the classic.
You've seen it a million times before. Yeah.
It's
are you getting tired to this offlane Vanguard stuff?
I think they should just add a like 150 or 200 gold recipe to Vanguard so that it can't be disassembled, and I think the item is balanced. But because like part of it is like it can be disassembled, but the other part is the fact that you can just get it with never like leaving the lane, right? You don't have to like ferry a courier, so you don't have to like worry about like your courier dying, and then you don't have to like wait for the courier to deliver you a recipe from the base. right? If you imagine like slowing down someone's Vanguard by a minute because it takes the courier a minute to walk to the lane, right? And then it gets sniped or something. There's a lot of things that you can do to balance the courier, there to balance the Vanguard, but I think making it so it can't disassemble is like the most important thing right now that needs to happen.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
I'd agree.
But we're getting ready to jump into this game, everyone. It is Ecuador versus Guatemala here. It's our first series that, you know, Neff and I here get to cast. Should be a lot of fun. Again, it seems like Ecuador is one of the favorites, so we'll see how that ends up going. Neff, based on say we like don't factor in the MMRs at all, draft wise, do you like Guatemala's draft here?
Absolutely. Guatemala, I feel like have some really good heroes. They have things that they're very comfortable on. I'm just not sure they're going to be able to overcome the MMR advantage that Ecuador has over them. Again, a bunch of top like ranked 334, ranked 346, 554 versus Ancient Divine players. I'm optimistic for them, but cautiously optimistic.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. You know, it's, again, not going to be easy, but maybe they can make it work. A little bit of a battle here over the runes. The disruption comes out, and Mai is in really deep. A nice impale there. We'll hold him back for the moment, but it's going to be First Blood going to the Shadow Demon. It's a huge brawl, man. Guatemala's going to lose 2. Static will fall next. That's going to be his 3rd death as the Beastmaster ends up dying, and now the Blood Grenade catching the Disruptor as well. Guatemala are going to lose 4. A double kill for Punisher on the Terrorblade.
Yeah, already off to an amazing start. I mean, look how farm this guy is going to be. Just coming into lane now. He's got Wand Recipe, and he buys himself a Band of Elvskin. He's just going to be like hitting for what, 60, 70 damage before long. This is a very rough start, and Martok's already sitting at half HP in the mid lane up here against the Void Spirit. He's getting bullied out already. Look at the aggression coming out from him.
Yeah, it makes sense, right? It's early Resonant Pulse. It allows you to just kind of trade right clicks pretty effectively. Doom doesn't have the bonus armor from the Devour yet, and just a lot of base damage there that gets provided. Oh, it looks like we lost the next bottom, but we're gonna have a little bit of a replay here at the rune fight. The Medusa, right? She just postures so aggressively, and into a Shadow Demon like that makes it really easy to just collapse on top of her.
Yeah. I mean, look at this. Taken down, and unfortunately, Techies is just way too good at pumping out damage in these early team fights. End up losing Disruptor as well. Amazing start here for Punisher. Like, I guess you could say it was a heavy punish at the beginning of this game.
Okay, you need to chill out, bro. We're barely into the game right now. All right. You need to bring it back down to like a 6 or a 7. Yeah, we work up to those types of jokes. All right. We can't just give everything this early.
But yeah, look at what a bully he's being here in the mid lane. And finally, we actually see a kill come out. Songman to find another kill onto Celsius here. So he's on a signature here, this Broodmaster. But you were talking about just how strong this Techies is.
Yeah, there's no hero from the 4th position that is stronger than Techies, to be honest. Like, this hero is absolutely absurd. And top lane, looks like we're going to get aggressive here and try and chase down the Disruptor. Try to poison off the mark, but the auto attacks are enough to help find the kill anyway.
Yep, 7-2 just to kick this one off. Ecuador playing very aggressive. I'm not sure this Medusa is going to have time to actually build up any farm and be able to
Shadow Demon is like one of the most farmed heroes right now.
Yeah, that's right. As you can see on the CS chart right now, Medusa is struggling to find almost anything. Only at 7 CS right now, and you're well on your way, halfway to finishing the Vitality booster on the Beastmaster. After he gets this one done, he's just going to be able to dive Medusa under tower, dive Disruptor under tower, and there's nothing they're going to be able to do about this.
Yeah, we're going to see the Lotuses coming out here in just a few seconds, and with where the lane's at right now, Ecuador is in a really good position to just be able to grab both of the Lotuses.
Yeah. They've got their stopwatch off from the beginning of the game. It's like clockwork here. 3 minutes, go for that objective. Move over to the side, pick up the bounty runes. 4 minutes, go for water runes. We'll see if they make that rotation a little bit. But playing very aggressive on Medusa here, and she's already out of mana. She does have a stick with 13 charges, but yeah, she's gonna have to pop that one to stay alive.
Oh, doesn't end up hitting the heroes either with the level 2 Mystic Snake, so unfortunate
That's
for them.
rough.
And yeah, are they gonna keep diving here? Like they might. They have another disruption up in a moment, and a glimpse will buy him some space. They will get him away from the Medusa for the moment, and a nice statics field there, being able to hold him in place. The Blood Grenade comes out as well, and Shadow Demon will finally get the disruption, try and trap this Medusa here behind the tower, and the damage is just too much. He beats down the Disruptor, and it's now going to be a double kill for the Beastmaster. Oh boy.
Yeah,
and we're still not done. Is now mid lane some more fighting.
Yeah. That's that water rune rotation that we see, but he ends up getting in anyway here on the Void Spirit. Now bullied away.
Oh, the blast off. Oh, the blast off into the sticky bomb. Void Spirit. Is it enough to finish off the Doom behind the tower? He will survive with that Ring of Regen. Haps has a salve as well. But oh my goodness. Look at the CS difference, man.
Yeah, I mean, this is something we were expecting coming into this game, but it is an absolute beatdown. The beginning of this game didn't make it any easier for them. Now they're going to try to go on to the Doom here.
They just keep going, man. It's nonstop aggression. This Techie's hero, man. You hit a sticky bomb. A little bit of a pause for the moment. Definitely good-mannered, I'm sure. Some lag.
Yeah. Listen, there's not going to be a BM one in a game like this one. I imagine Ecuador, it's strictly business for them. Nothing personal here. Punisher DCing from the game. I imagine he'll be back before too long. Just a couple internet issues. I don't think he's under any threat right now. Brewmaster against him in the bottom lane. Just has an Urn of Shadows and a Blood Grenade. The Blood Grenade does trigger the Cinder Brew, doesn't it?
What is it that triggered the Cinder Brew?
Blood Grenade. Or am I mistaken?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. It was one of the reasons Brewmaster started getting picked up a lot more at the beginning of the patch because of just how strong his level 1 was with a Cinder Brew Blood Grenade. Like if you try to take a 5v5 fight and there's a Brewmaster and he hits like 3 hero Cinder Brew into the Blood Grenade, it's a ridiculous amount of damage. But yeah.
Anyway, the reason I'm talking about this one is even though he's DC'd right now in Punisher, I don't think he's under any threat. I mean, again, this Terrorblade sitting on 17 wand charges, a Healing Lotus, a Fairy Fire. It looks like Excelsius is just getting pushed out of lane here, despite playing one of the heroes that he's most comfortable with. I mean, he's at the top of the CS chart on his team, but he's 27 and 13 on this TB. Like, you don't get to be here anymore, unfortunately.
Oh boy, yeah, that is not a good start, man. I was looking at the general net worth, and the Shadow Demon getting those 3 kills early on, and then now the 5th assist that he has. He's just sitting 4th on the net worth chart. He's actually in front of all 3 cores of Guatemala.
Yep.
It's a little bit scary.
Yeah, it is. I'm actually kind of curious what's stopping the Terrorblade from just trying to run down the Brewmaster down here. Because again, no boots, 310 movement speed. You've got treads on the TB. You could just pop Metamorphosis and try to chase him down. But again, we'll see.
I think he just wants to farm. I don't think he cares too much, right? If you're in a lane as a carry and you have 0 threat being put on you, it's the best thing you can do is just control the wave CS and farm an extra camp on each rotation. And Terrorblade is one of the heroes that can do that, right? So we'll probably see him farming the hard camp or the easy camp behind his tower pretty quickly here.
Do you think he stays in lane here, by the way, or he does that move straight into the jungle, or do you think he keep? All right, he'll stay in lane. Just
I think he stays in
shut down this Brewmaster.
Yeah. It shuts down the Brewmaster, but I don't think anyone wants to really go bottom, to be honest. I think Shadow Demon still wants to play with the Beastmaster top, and Techies will likely just be roaming for kills because that's just the strength of this hero. Techies could sit bottom and soak up XP, but Terrorblade gets a lot of XP from lane creeps. I think lane creeps, yes, they don't have as much gold as they used to, but they still have more XP, I think, than the jungle camps. Am I mistaken on that?
That is correct.
Because they only nerfed the gold gain on creeps. They didn't nerf the XP.
Yeah, so it's still really not that worth heading off into the jungle, unfortunately. You take a look elsewhere on the map. I've been talking an awful lot about this bottom lane. I mean, they placed a fairly deep ward a while ago, but they haven't really gotten much from this, unfortunately. Everywhere else on the map, though, again, Medusa struggling to farm. In the mid lane is kind of where the action has been.
All right. Well, it looks like we're just gonna be. Well, you guys can be treated by Nefs in my face while we're waiting for this pause to be resolved. Looks like a little bit of
Mostly
lag
mine.
issues on the side of Ecuador, which, I mean, that's definitely one way to not advance in a tournament is having a player DC out. We've seen that happen
Well,
many a times.
we have. As I said, though, anything can happen in these qualifiers. It would suck if that's the way that they went out or they struggled, just going through all the pause time. But I imagine they'll probably get things sorted. If we saw a 4v5, that would be
Yeah.
one for the books, but it wouldn't feel right having the game end in a 4v5.
I mean, the question is would Ecuador lose a 4v5?
That is a pretty good question. Depends who they lose. I think if they lose the Terror Blade, almost certainly that they don't advance past it. They just have no one hit towers at that point.
Yeah, it'll be the Shadow Demon, right? He'll just build core, go like max disruption, and try to just make clones of the Medusa to hit towers with or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I suppose. Just use the enemy carry if your carry disconnects. That's your logic that you're going for here, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, it looks like we're trying to figure out what's going on here. Both yeah, admin's still trying to get in touch with Ecuador here to figure out what exactly happened or what exactly is going on. But it looks like we might be back into this one in a moment. We're getting the ready out from Ecuador, so it looks like hopefully they have fixed this one up. We get the G from the side of Guatemala. So looks like we're in. We're gonna go right back into the game.
Waste no time.
No time at all.
Unfortunately, no action after that delayed pause. Thought that we might see something coming out of the mid lane, but all we see is a bottle refill. TP's in on the Shadow Demon, passes that over to Fumak.
That's just good teamwork, Always love bottle refills. One thing I am going to be curious about is how diligent both these teams are going to be for those 7-minute Wisdom Runes. It looks like bottom lane, that's going to be the meta usage as the Techies makes his rotation. And they should be able to find the kill here onto Excelsius, and they do. They got him.
Yep. Nyx Assassin trying to come in to assist there at the end, but he does not manage to make it in time. This is unfortunate. So, again, I was a little bit worried about that. Brewmaster was talking about it during the pause. The fact that he just didn't have boots made it way too easy to run him down there.
Yeah. He needed a little bit of help from someone, right? Like, Terrorblade could do a lot of damage, but he doesn't really find the kill without the Techies there. And looks like we're going to see some more fighting in the top side of the map. It's just nonstop aggression from the side of Ecuador, man. Like, they're just punishing Guatemala in these lanes.
Yeah. And we'll see more action in the mid lane in just a second as the power runes start to spawn here at the 6-minute mark. And you hit level 6 as well on the Void Spirit.
He does have the Vanguard on Doom, so it is really hard to actually to kill this hero. But Void Spirit finds himself an Arcane Rune to bottle up top, so that is really, really strong.
Yeah. Almost certainly going to look for a kill with this one once he finds the opportunity. Might go for level 7 first, we will see. But Doom, not easy to kill with his Vanguard.
Yeah.
He's one of the higher strength growth rate heroes in the game, and you got the damage block factor on top of that. It is super difficult to deal with him. But Ben, top tower, there's just no dealing with this Beastmaster anymore after he's got this Vanguard. Like, all the Medusa has to work with is right clicks, and those aren't doing a damn thing to him anymore.
Yeah, you're right. Oh my goodness, mid lane, this Void Spirit is out of mana completely. But he's chilling though. He's still chilling pretty good. And like I was saying earlier, I'm curious how diligent they're going to be around these 7-minute Wisdom Runes. Ecuador grabs both. They were ready to go. The Techie starts wrapping around, so he's got the enemy Wisdom Rune, which puts him into almost, like, he's over level 5. And Shadow Demon's almost level 6. So just the XP difference from these are going to be a big deal. Continue to just run at this Void Spirit mid. They're almost getting him. The mana burn from this Doom is being super annoying to play around.
Yeah. I mean, he does have 2 Astral Steps to work with, but when he's sitting this low on HP, it might be time for him to just move back to base. Be a little bit greedy if he stuck around for the 8-minute rune, maybe hoping he gets a regen or something. Action bottom, though.
Bottom. Trying to finish off with Brewmaster. Punisher was zoned out by a nice static field, but Songs just has the damage. He just gets the kill alone on the techies. That's this level difference, man. Level 5 supports versus the level 3s. They now find static and that damage from the Terrorblade. The dude's got his Dragon Lance already done. He is just so far ahead.
Yeah, and now we have an 8,000 gold lead here at 8 minutes into the game. It's very rare to see 1,000 gold per minute advantage this early on, but
like we mentioned, mark.
Yeah, sub 10-minute mark is a pretty significant MMR advantage that Ecuador has over Guatemala here, and they continue to put the hurt on. I mean, WEC just putting pressure on this mid tier 1 tower to get even more control of the map. And our observer was pointing out, now, just all these heroes on the side of Guatemala stuck inside the jungle trying to farm because they can't confront the enemy hero counterparts. Medusa incredibly underleveled, and if you can see, very low on the net worth, 3.3 thousand here at 9 minutes into the game.
Oh boy. Astral Steps, that's not going to be enough damage there coming out from the... Okay, but it will be with the Shadow Demon. Never mind. As the disruption does come through, he had a full stick charge there as well. Void Spirit trying to TP on up, but a nice glimpse. They will get on the board here, take down this Void Spirit. They do. Nicely done, but the wraparound for the Beastmaster managed to find the kill there with the Roar. He's still got Primal Split available. He needs to use it, and he will. Turns the damage here onto the Shadow Demon. Nice Cyclone. In comes Song. The good blast off, holding down 3, but Static is here for the wraparound. They are finding themselves some good kills. Nyx Assassin now in some trouble as the Techies is level 6. He has a lot of damage still to play with. So he's trying to find the Nyx. But Beastmaster, this man just seems borderline unkillable. He's so tanky, and now the Doom will come out. He's dropping the mines, trying to do what damage he can. The Static Bomb will be thrown on over to the Brewmaster, and he does find the kill that way. A Sunder from Punisher. The reset coming through. Static now in trouble on the run, and the damage from the Beastmaster helps get the kill. Songs still playing around on just a fraction of HP, but Ecuador with great teamwork here. Just playing so deep behind the tower. They do manage to find a couple kills here on Guatemala, but big win still going to be Ecuador.
Yeah, that defensive Sunder. Don't say your carries never did nothing for you, anyone. All right, that one was sick. Beastmaster just forced to fight there underneath the Techie spines. Alongside the Techie, underneath the stuns from the Nyx Assassin, underneath that Doom, and then gets topped up again and just able to keep going. And Terrorblade goes right back to farming alongside that. So tower's taken, 9k net worth advantage now, 10k net worth advantage now here at 10 minutes, and 20-4 between Ecuador and Guatemala. This is just looking like a beatdown at the moment.
I mean, you have this Beastmaster who is just absurdly farmed. He almost has his Aghanim Scepter, and when you play behind against a Beast, you start to suffer a lot in the vision game. And we're going to see the Void Spirit just get aggression again. It's just a freebie for him. He just finds himself another kill.
Yep. And you mentioned at the beginning of this game, Nyx Assassin here that very much struggles from playing from behind. He is quite far behind at the moment. So, not sure what he's going to be able to contribute other than just scouting, running at the enemies, and trying to create space for this Medusa, who's doing her damnedest to come online, but it won't be long until the enemy team starts invading her side of the map. In fact, Shadow Demon already put a little bit of harass onto her. Punisher, we see on the TB here, already started working on solutions for the Medusa preemptively. I'm not sure if we caught it earlier, but on the Courier, there's a Diffusal Blade flying out onto the TB. So he's got a whole other...
Wait, did he actually?
Yeah, he finished up a Diffusal Blade, so we'll see that in just a second. It's flying out.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and you almost have your Aghanim Scepter done here on the Beastmaster, only 70 gold off that one. Shield Rune on the Void Spirit. You're just going to die in the tower with this one. I'm not sure they're going to be able to finish off the Brewmaster before he gets the split.
He's trying to just force some reaction here, and they just drop the Roar. They manage to take down the Brew. Punisher just beats down Venti alongside, and now the tier 2 tower likely to fall here in a moment as the fortification will protect it, but they've still got creeps here. You've got the Beastmaster Aura, and of course, you've got a Terrorblade, so it's not going to take too long. Top lane, some aggression here as they're trying to just put some pressure onto this Medusa like you were talking about. She has a decent chunk of wand charges, but the Shadow Demon with just a disruption is so much for him to play against.
drop it all of a sudden. You're taking all this auto attack damage. Illusions get the mana shield now as well, which is just ridiculous. And yeah, working on that Manta style, but I'm not sure how much it's going to do. We're gonna look for kills in this jungle here.
Yeah, they might find it, but again, the haste rune, he can just dodge this with the dissimilate. He actually doesn't bother. He just gets glimpsed away, and now Techie's trying to run away. Is protected for the moment with the Pavis, but the damage is still enough, and it's just going to be a double kill as he cleans up both supports alongside the Doom.
I had no reason to notice.
And Mai doesn't get the ult off, runs out of mana. It's even, oh, he does get it off here at the last moment, but he just pops him. Oh my god. Shadow Demon, ladies and gentlemen, in case you were wondering why it's picked into the Medusa, that's one. That's one of the reasons.
Now, the unastute viewer may have asked, why didn't this Disruptor drop Static Storm in that last team? Well, I'll tell you why. This Disruptor is level 4 at 13 minutes.
Hold up.
This is a rough one.
Remember when I said Wisdom Runes are a big deal, especially that first one?
Well, we're about to see
this I don't want to say that's the only difference, but he would almost be level 6 with the Wisdom Rune right now. Speaking of Wisdom Runes, they are respawning.
Yeah.
Who's going to get him? Dude, I feel like
they need them so badly.
They need it so bad.
Yeah.
We'll see though. I mean, if Ecuador wants, they can just march right on through, and it looks like that's kind of what the Shadow Demon wants. He gets the disruption. He has the purge as well. He's gonna throw it, and this will just give him plenty of space to play with. Nyx Assassin does pop the Vendetta to sneak on by and steal the rune, though. He's like, sorry, bro, I have bigger things to get. More important objectives. Oh boy, that is a reflection to just bring down Maritox. Punisher's damage is, let's say he's bringing the punishment right now.
Yeah. Thank you for that one. 218 damage per auto attack here, and again, does have this diffusal blade, so tear right through this Medusa's mana shield. And already 15 minutes into the game, knocking on your tier 3s, and Mac goes in with a double damage rune.
Oh. Yeah, double damage Echo Saber on a Void Spirit is a lot of damage right now. We're going to see the Primal Split come through. Maybe they can find an opening here onto those Void Spirit. Oh no! The Impale at the exact same time as that Cyclone, and he's got a Disruption. He can dissimilate out, and Void Spirit should be fine. He might actually just go in instead. He throws the Doom, though. Maritox does lock him down. He's going to regret sticking around that long, but a nice Static Storm there as the counter to the Techies jumping on in. They take down the Doom. But man, that's gonna be okay. There's just a Beastmaster who goes in with a Blink Roar, cleans up too, and now he's got his attention on the Medusas. They're just burning through her so fast. Triple kill for the Beastmaster, and Punisher starting to get to work onto the towers here as the tier 3s are not gonna last very long here.
Yeah, I mean they do manage to find 2 kills there at the very least, but we're looking at 20k net worth lead, 35-7. 16 minutes in the game, they're taking these Raxes. This is absolutely insane gameplay here from Team Ecuador. They are not letting up at all. They see this Medusa, they go, okay, you want to go late game? We're not going to let you see the 20-minute mark here.
You did say it would be interesting if you kind of anticipated 20 to 25-minute games here. Here behind the tower, another Blink Roar with the max drum charges going. Just gets himself another 2 kills. This guy is 10-1. 13,000 net worth at 16 minutes into the game.
Yeah, and they're going for a second Rax here. I mean, this TB is just making such quick work of it. They could even go for the last one here. Creep Wave is pushed in. Fumek just come up from the bottom with the Creep Wave. So don't even have to tank the tower here. And it's so difficult to bid onto these people just because the Shadow Demon's there. He can save them. But yeah, he gets the Disruption, does manage to find the Medusa. Nice Static Storm, catching the Terrorblade with it. The question is, will he be able to Sunder? Can he survive long enough? He does. He gets it off at the last second. He's going to be fine, and now the chase into the base. He's got himself that Iascati, slowing them down plenty as the Shadow Demons tried to distract them. As they will chase the Disruptor instead, and now Punisher, it's not going to be too long.
There it is. They get themselves the 4th kill. The Medusa, the lone survivor here.
Well, they took their eyes off the prize there. They at the very least baited them away from that bottom tier 3 tower, that bottom racks. And heroes are so underleveled that they are going to be back up in a couple of seconds here. But with this kind of net worth difference, does it really matter that all 5 heroes are back up?
No, because you just get roared and 2-shot eventually by this Terrorblade, who is just doing an absurd amount of damage. He could actually just farm rampages at this point if he really wanted, but he gets himself his triple kill. Punisher, the defusal, looking like it was the right choice here. Buys himself a Chrysalis. As his team's wanting to finish the throne here, but go Scepter play there. Venti actually, dude,
brings
all
it
right.
back
You
in.
got
He
my
punished
game.
it for diving the fountain there.
You got
That's
game
finding
on.
out right there. That is finding out.
That is finding out for sure. It looks like they're gonna fort the throne here, just have a little bit of fun here before this gets fully taken down. Excelsior's gonna run in here with the vessel, try to do what he can on over the Shadow Demon. Will force the Primal Split, the Disruption to dodge the Glimpse, the Static Storm not gonna be on the mark either. He's just walking away at the moment. He's got the cleanse onto himself. It's doing so much work, but will he actually fall here is the question. The stuns, finally, they make it happen, but you've got to deal with all these heroes on the backside now.
Dire's courier has been killed.
Oh, they get
Punisher managed
techies
to
as well. All right,
kill
nice play from Static.
Yeah. The heroes are coming back in one at a time, which isn't great. Again, you don't have Mega still. Punisher managed to find Static here. Try to connect. There's the Doom. They could just bring down the TB here.
He's got a roar.
Okay.
He still had that roar ready to go. Yeah. TB, yeah, he's going to be a little bit low, but he's going to be fine. He'll have the Sunder up in a moment, and he's just looking for someone to throw it at. Instead, he throws on his Void Spirit. He's like, sorry, brother. I have bigger targets. Does manage to snipe the Brewmaster there with a nice remnant as my forts all the way back into the fountain here once again. And the throne about to explode, and it will be game 1 going the way of Ecuador here in this best of 3 as they just dive the fountain once again, adding insult to injury. This team looks pretty good, Neff. I don't know.
So far today, they make it a solid 3-0 here with their first match of the best of 3 against Team Guatemala. Ecuador wins, and they look damn good doing it. They look damn good doing it, Ricky.
Yeah, this team's going to be scary, man. We'll see if anyone can actually start to take games against them, but at least for now, like we said, looking like the favorite here in the Northern Cone qualifier. Guatemala, I mean, it's an MMR difference here mostly. I don't think their draft was actually, that bad. I would say the Nyx Assassin is the big question mark for me because, like I said, this is not a hero that plays well from behind. So it is a little bit interesting, but we do have, Ecuador just showing why they're one of the favorites. Just overall superstar draft, very good executed play, good stuff all around.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think amazing match, and again, punishing the Medusa, using his aggression to their advantage, and fighting into some of Guatemala's best heroes here. I imagine we're going to see the Brewmaster banned out in game number 2. Not be very surprised about that at all. We'll see if they can bounce back after something like that. Would be incredibly impressive to me if we see a longer game 2. It looks like they were battered and bruised there, but they didn't want to give up fighting.
Yeah, it definitely did seem like there was going to be it's one of those things that, like, at some point you just kind of want to have fun, and it looks like we do have some replays of the game, which, I mean, not going to be a lot of replays, I'd imagine. It mostly is just Ecuador kind of owning. I will say the fun part, though, definitely this beginning fight, right? This overall, like, 0-minute rune fight where 6 heroes or 7 heroes die. Like, this is the good stuff. That's what we like to see.
Yeah, and I mean, this was just such an amazing start. Not only do you manage to find 4 kills right at the beginning of the game, but this Doom started the lane with half HP. That made it so much easier for the Void Spirit to just bully the Doom out of the lane. And I feel like things were just incredibly lopsided right off the bat because of that one. And again, kill after kill, dive after dive happening here. And this is the one that Techies ends up coming in. Beautiful blast off. Oh, that was so good.
Yeah. This hero, especially with early like XP advantage, it just catches so many heroes off guard because the slow from Sticky Bomb is ridiculous. It is so much slow. It is so much damage. And you just can't get away from this hero. But it just kind of snowballs, right? Like all of their lanes start going well. They know how to play the aggression and how to continue to apply pressure. And Guatemala just does not ever recover.
Yeah,
So,
and then
I
giving
don't know,
to the punishment of the Brewmaster. Before this kill, there was the one where the Brew didn't even have boots, and they just chased him down. And XP advantage was pretty significant as well. They managed to grab all the Wisdom runes, which again just makes them for a massive XP advantage. We were like 14 minutes into the game. Disruptor trying to defend a tier 3 tower at 15 minutes and didn't have the ult available. It was painful, man. That was real painful. We've all had games like that, but yeah, it hurts when you see somebody else living it.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
know
this
the
was
feeling.
the
You know the feeling
beautiful
for sure.
Yeah, this is just the Brewmaster putting the hurt onto these heroes. The Doom comes back after this one, and then we saw the defense of Sunder here. It looked so good.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. This defensive Sunder was actually so sick. The Nyx assassin.
There it is.
Yeah, there it is. Or not the Nyx assassin. The techies. When he blasts off into that fight and he drops like a single proxy mine, it almost killed like all of the Brewlings. Like just the proxy mine sticky bomb almost killed like all 4 of the Brewlings outside of like the Earth Spirit, obviously. But it did like 75% of their health.
Yeah, I mean, the Earthman only has like 50% magic. It's used to be immune to these kind of things, but now it just dies. And then we see the dive here with the shield rune on the Void Spirit. So they're just taking advantage of every little opportunity that they have. They never really lit up on Team Ecuador here, putting the hurt onto Guatemala.
Nah. This is really just like a highlight reel for Team Ecuador, right? Like this is like, they'll just throw this on Twitter later and be like, yeah, this is just what we do.
With the anthem in the background.
Exactly, dude. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this one was a little bit of Void Spirit definitely could have gotten out, but he was just like, yeah, but why should I? You know, why not just go in and die? Allow my allow my Beastmaster and my techies to come in and like clean up shortly after.
It did allow the Disruptor to hit level 6 there, so he was able to drop the Static Storm off one of the techies, but it didn't change the fate of this game. This Beastmaster just started popping off when the techies and the Void Spirit weren't there, and yeah, Medusa, it feels like she has the old mana shield there with how quickly that she ended up melting.
Yeah. Yeah, this when you're this far ahead as a Beastmaster, it's just an impossible hero to play against. Like, not only just from the vision advantage, but just team fight wise, he just is so tanky to kill as well. Right here, like they almost managed to kill the Terrorblade, but as soon as that Static Storm ends, it's just an instant Sunder, and you get chased all the way back into their fountain here once again. It's just rough. It's just constant beat down. And, you know, good on Guatemala for not tapping out super early. You know, I think in a lot of pub games, you would have seen someone hit the, you know, end please at like the 12-minute mark there. You know, just sitting in the fountain, the good old end, you know, but they didn't do it. They played it out.
Yep. They sure did. And we see another like Doom coming out. He ends up using Sunder up onto his teammate there, and Void Spirit was having a little bit too much fun here at the end, and did end up getting punished by the Disruptor for it. Buys a Ghost after,
Dude,
starts
that's
trying
the
to show
highlight I
off,
want
and
to
gets
see.
pulled back into the fountain.
Oh, we're back. All right, so that was the end of the highlights. I mean, it's overall pretty good stuff. Like from Ecuador, like they just look super clean. Yeah, I don't know, man. What do you think's gonna change in game number 2, or is anything gonna change in game number 2?
I imagine we'll probably see some bans of the heroes that really did pop off in the previous game. Again, the Beastmaster, I think we're not going to see that one again. I'm not so sure about the Void Spirit, but definitely the Beastmaster.
All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and throw it to a short break, everyone, and we'll be back. We got, again, game number 2 of Team Ecuador versus Guatemala coming up in a sec. We'll see you then. Hey everybody, and welcome back here to the IESF World Championship. I'm super excited, dude. We've got a lot of good games coming up here, but right now it's going to be Ecuador versus Guatemala in game number 2. And Neff, we just came off one of the fastest games we've covered in a while, I would say. I don't know. How do you feel? How do you bounce back? How do you keep morale high going into game number 2 here if you're Guatemala?
You need a class clown. I don't know if they have one on Team Guatemala, but a game like that one, that is definitely rough. You just need to chalk it up to like one thing going wrong and move on to the next game instead of doting on anything too hard. So just say, oh yeah, Beastmaster, broken hero. That's all it was. Game 2, we banned this thing out first. Then it's going to be completely different, and we're going to jump into that one right away, aren't we?
Yeah, so let's go ahead and see what these teams are going to pick and ban, because like honestly, the Beastmaster is probably worth that first phase ban. I can't imagine you give that one over, but we also need to see the techies removed, and that's exactly what they do. So Guatemala once again will take second pick and Dyer. They get rid of the techies here. I mean, do you ban the Beastmaster and then leave the Doom in? Like, there's so many heroes you have to be worried about this Team Ecuador getting.
Yeah, I think if you focus too much on banning out like absolutely every hero that the enemy picked, all of a sudden you're not thinking about your own strategy or anything like that, or the enemy team strategy, just kind of reacting to what they're doing. But I think the techies is probably a good place to start. Again, it is something that the Songs have been playing a lot of. I know when I did my research into these two teams, it was something that kind of jumped out at me, and I talked about at the beginning of that last game more than anything else. So I'm not surprised that they want to get rid of that one. Someone was probably not as vocal as they should have been at the beginning of the last draft, and this time they decided, okay, I messed up the rotations. It was ownage and lane. We're going to get rid of that one more than we care about the Beastmaster. But that gives Ecuador a lot to grab with their first pick here, does it not? I mean, they've got a ton of like super meta heroes that they could grab.
Yeah, techies is like the best first pick hero, I think, in Dota right now. Like that, it is just way too strong. We might just see them go for the Doom here, but I also wouldn't be surprised if Ecuador just want to play something faster. That is the opposite of fast. Trees are not fast. This is a super slow hero. So I am a little bit interesting in where like they're planning on playing this. If this is going to be a support or core, that would be quite interesting. But yeah, Treant Protector overall first. Can't say I've seen that in a while.
Yeah, not something that I would have gone with. Do they have anyone that played I don't think they had anybody that plays like a ton of Treant Protector either when I was looking this one up. So I am a little bit shocked. Maybe it's just like, all right, we're going to pick Tree. Do your worst here. They follow up with Undying, which is one of the more popular supports of this patch. I feel like he is, well, in the last patch as well, he's continued to be super strong, but I really like how his Tombstone works now.
Yeah, the Tombstone is pretty neat. It's a great save mechanic once you have the shard, but it is also one of those things that, like, again, similar to the Nyx Assassin, if you're playing from behind, this hero feels really rough. And the difference is, like, you have a save with the Undying as opposed to the Nyx Assassin not having something like that. They go for the Spirit Breaker here. I actually like this hero a lot right now. I think this is one of the better heroes of the patch. Like, it's just been getting a ton of attention. I think it has a super versatile item build. People are realizing it's just incredibly tanky, right? With the changes to his bulldoze and his level 15 talents, like he's difficult to deal with unless you have some sort of dispel or like early Yule Scepters, right?
Yeah. And Excelsius and Static have both been playing a lot of Spirit Breaker lately. So I'm not surprised for them to pick it up here. They could like flex this between like the pause 4 and the off lane. We've mostly been seeing it off lane, or at least I've mostly been seeing it off lane in games that I've been watching lately. I don't know if that's been the case in DPC.
No, I think for the most part, it's been getting played more and more into the 3. I've seen some people play it in the 4 and even mid lane, but I don't really see it outside. It's either in the off lane or in the mid lane. It's never going to be the 5 or anything like that.
Yep. They go for Void Spirit.
Go back to the Void Spirit. Yep.
Sorry for cutting you off there, Ricky. You're not just a pretty face. You have things to say. You go ahead.
No. It's all you, man. We're talking at the same time. You please talk about the Void Spirit.
Absolutely. All right. I imagine this hero is going to have a pretty easy time diving again. now with the assistance from the living armor that's just going to be dropped on him constantly. He's very easy to jump out of the tower. It's going to be another advantage they have to worry about in the mid lane. But hopefully this game they play a little bit more cautious at the beginning, so you don't have to play against that 50% HP disadvantage from the very start, where you just get bullied and traded with, on top of having to deal with living armor. I don't think mid lane will be quite so one-sided this time, but Void Spirit does continue to be one of the best mid laners right now, due to the fact that, one, it's crazy jump around hero, and two, because you're universal, you just have so much goddamn damage.
Yep. He has so much damage, and his item builds just make the hero stronger than ever before. They ban out the Medusa. I'm curious if they want to go for something like a Darkseer here on Ecuador. I think it would be pretty good. It is still like an available offlaner. They get rid of the Phantom Lancer on Guatemala, which has me a little bit concerned. I don't know why they would choose to ban out the Phantom Lancer, just because you're not playing into Medusa or anything. But maybe they just really don't want to deal with this illusion type hero. I don't know.
Yeah, probably just don't want to deal with the illusions. They aren't as heavily targeting carries as they did in the previous game. The Underlord again, not a surprise to me. You think they'll continue to target bans like they did in the last game towards the carry, or do you think they'll just kind of react to what you saw in the previous game? Because again,
it really just comes down to what you want to pick.
Carry bans.
Yeah, I think the Magnus makes sense. It's just probably one of the better safe lane carries, but it also plays super well with the Void Spirit. Giving the Void Spirit empower, getting multiple hero RPs into an Astral Step is just absurd. So I think that one probably makes the most sense. I'm still, like I said, not sold 100% on this PL ban, but maybe we'll see a little bit more with what Guatemala want to pick. If they're looking for something like a Venomancer or a Dark Willow, something along those lines that are just, the heroes are just so heavily countered by a PL. Maybe that's why they would go for the ban there, but yeah, I don't know. Having second pick makes it a little bit different. So we'll see what they want to pick up on 18 at the end of the phase once they have a little bit more info on, what Ecuador is planning.
Yeah. Still have another minute and 10 seconds to decide what they want to grab here. And again, they have to reveal a little bit more about their draft, unfortunately. I wouldn't hate if they just went with something that both they play and Team Ecuador plays. I know that Venti plays a lot of Rubik. Does the same, I believe, on Songs as well. It is one of his most played heroes. So that could be something that they go for here. Both as a pickup for their own team.
Songs will probably be taking the Treant though, right?
We'll see. That's something you can
I
switch
want them
around
to run this
position
Treant core.
4 and 5. You want to see a core?
I want to see a 3-position Treant here.
A 3 Treant. I don't know if that's happening again. The last time we saw things like that, it's when the hero had a billion base damage, but we didn't have rubber band mechanics. If you'd run Treant Protector against a low base damage mid laner, they could just never get a last hit in.
Dude, that was so funny.
Mirana,
I loved it.
Yeah, Mirana picked up now. Any idea where this one's going
to be
played?
There was a time... I mean, this has got to be the 4. My guess is it's Spirit Breaker, Mirana offlane. I think that's your 3-4 combo. So I think with that, Ecuador should have some info to be able to play around it. And I think Treant Protector is actually decent into this lane for the most part. He does a lot of right-click damage like you were talking about. And Living Armor should give him enough sustain to trade with heroes like the Mirana and whatnot, especially Leech Seed. So I'm curious if he wants to go for more of an aggressive lane. You could just go 1-2-0, pick up 2 points Leech Seed early and just fight the lane with whatever core you want to pick. And Slark is still available. Very good against Spirit Breaker and Mirana, but you could also go for something like a Monkey King. I don't know. We'll see. The Clinks 4, man. This hero is sick.
Yeah. The amount of spam you can do with Tar Bomb now is super annoying. They've been playing it, I believe, core. You've been playing a lot of Clinks on Punisher. So I've seen some support Clinks in games, and then they go Solar Crest and whatnot, it actually does a lot of damage. I've had somebody in my games do it before, and it wasn't awful. But this is something that Punisher's been playing a lot of, so it's almost certainly going to be a core position 1 Clinks.
Yeah.
Unless you think
we'll
that they'll play it somewhere
doing.
else. And they go Dawnbreaker alongside that one. So they've got, like, Clinks is able to move around the map fairly quickly, and then good global potential both from the Living Armor on the Treant Protector and the save coming in from Dawnbreaker. So there's going to be a lot of heal if you try to commit on any of these heroes, and I feel like it's a pretty good reaction for the Spirit Breaker.
I like it. Yeah, I actually kind of just like the pressure that Dawnbreaker Clinks can do together. Clinks just picks up the early medallion, has a ton of physical damage that comes out from his kit, and then Dawnbreaker just jumping on in there, hitting him with a Celestial Hammer, or even just the Starbreaker should be enough to kill almost any hero. So I like that idea, but Mirana is not easy to grab just because of leaps. Spirit Breaker has charge, so it's not the best against those two, but we'll see what it is, like what else they pick here. They grab the Pudge. If that is a safe lane Pudge, I am very worried. Because I think this is Dawnbreaker Clinks off lane.
Venti plays a lot of Pudge, the position 4 player on Guatemala. It is one of his most played. I think it is his most played hero of all time.
Okay.
So
I mean, most Pudges that we see right now are being played in the 4 support position, but then that raises the question of where is this Mirana Spirit Breaker going? Because that would mean both of them would be the core. Or, right? Like Mirana mid, offlane Spirit Breaker, or offlane Mirana mid Spirit Breaker?
I think that it'll probably be Mirana in the mid lane. So just because it's a universal hero now, I think it can scale well enough as either a carry or a mid laner. Like, again, the damage in the late game that you get with these heroes is absolutely insane.
Yeah, I've seen people try it on and off. It's not like the best thing, but it's okay, I suppose. They're going to ban out the Sven. Okay.
Yeah, so they're fairly confident that it is probably going to be like like a mid lane Mirana, and then a mid lane Mirana support Pudge 3 Spirit Breaker. So they still need a position 1. They get rid of the Sven.
I mean, Pudge Spirit Breaker lane sounds so rough. If you don't ban a Slark here, I don't know how you play this game. I feel like you have to ban the Slark. Like double melee with a Treant Protector. Like okay, they get rid of Monkey King. That one would be probably a lot more scary to play into. But if you leave a Slark in here, they go for it. Maybe you pick the Faceless Void in return, rush a Midas, and try and play for that. But it still doesn't feel great.
So you're convinced that it's not going to be a position 1 Clinks?
10 seconds remaining.
I don't think it's position 1 Clinks. I think Clinks is way too good as a 4. I think you just play it as a 4, go for the like medallion into Solar Crest rush, and you just like run at these supports. They ban the Ursa. Okay.
So they are some heroes that they've been playing quite a lot of. Getting rid of the Monkey King makes sense because it is one of the most played heroes Punisher has. Sano also plays a little bit of Monkey King in his match history, but I didn't have much pub data to go on. So 2 birds with 1 stone with that one, and they end up going for the SF.
Ooh. That is a really good SF pick. Like, there's so much minus armor that comes between the Clinks already, just with getting like an early medallion into Solar Crest. And these are not high armor heroes on the side of Team Guatemala. And now you have the Shadow Fiend with Presence of the Dark Lord. You could build an early Deso on either Dawnbreaker or Shadow Fiend, to be honest. And they go for a Bounty Hunter. So I think that is a safe lane Pudge. No, it's mid Bounty.
Yep, Maritux has been playing some mid Bounty Hunter recently.
And it's going to be Mai on the Pudge. So yeah, safe lane Pudge. It will be statics on the Spirit Breaker. So Excelsius will take the offlane Mirana. So mid Bounty into Pudge. Void Spirit. Yeah, it is carry Pudge.
All right. This, I mean, if nothing else, this is going to be an interesting game. Yeah, I'm not so sure about it. But this is going to be damn interesting. I mean, mid Bounty Hunter, carry Pudge. They're pulling out all the stops here, man.
you know, they're definitely wanting to have some fun. They want to play some heroes, have a good time. I think mid bounty is definitely viable. It feels better as a 4, but you know, they're gonna do something interesting with it. I think up into a Void Spirit, he should have a decent amount of harassment. Void Spirit is relatively low armor, and Janata's damage, especially with early levels, if you go for like you should max Janata in this lane. It'll do a lot of damage, and Bounty Hunter is super high base stats, so I like it. I don't think it's too bad. It'll be an interesting matchup for sure, but I think the big question mark is going to be what this Clinks can get done, because Dawnbreaker's lane should be pretty decent, and I'm mostly just curious how Sano is going to make like these rotations and what he's going to find on the map with this hero.
Well, again, I have seen it work in a couple of games, but I have also seen in some of these recent matches they were playing this Clinks to carry. So possible they just wanted to flex it out. I am a little bit concerned about this minus armor they're going to have against Team Guatemala and how they'll be able to respond to that once the game goes on. But the beginning, I feel like the lane should be a lot more even than they were in the last game.
I would hope so. I would think it would be. The worst thing you can do is like lose another like level 1 fight. So let's just go ahead and jump on into this game. It is going to be Ecuador versus Guatemala. Game number 2 here in the IESF World Championship. And honestly, you're kind of praying for a miracle here on the side of Guatemala, I think.
Listen, no one's answering, unfortunately. They got to make their own miracles here. If the team deserves to make it, they'll make it. And they're pulling out some wacky stuff. And I feel like that's what you have to do against teams that are so much higher MMR than you. You make it so they don't understand what's going on, and it doesn't feel like the Dota they're used to anymore. That is going to be your best bet.
Well, they're going to walk right up onto the high ground. You're going to be able to drop the tombstone here, and that's going to do a lot of work in this fight as the arrow will also catch. Benfi gets hooked to the low ground. This is the best possible start you're going to get. They lose the Undying.
Look at
They
all the
trade
zombies,
for that Tree of Protector, but it's the zombies, man. They are definitely just going to keep chasing. The raises are not enough. They get themselves the Shadow Fiend, and Maritox is still chasing. Hook, not on the mark. Arrow, it is, though. Unfortunately, you've already thrown this hook, though. Otherwise, you'd be able to completely pull down that Dawnbreaker, find themselves a third. So a little bit of maybe missed timing of spells, but overall, 2 kills for the side of Guatemala, as they will grab 3 of the bounty runes as well. The high ground tombstone Neff. It wins again.
Unfortunately, yeah. That is a super sick tombstone. He ended up doing so much damage. That 1,500 damage, almost 1,600 coming out from the Undying in that last team fight. That is absolutely unreal. This one dropped.
Yeah, he did more than the entirety of Ecuador.
Yeah, unfortunately, you have level 1 tombstone now. So a little positives, little negatives there. You don't have a decay inside the lane here, so it's going to be very easy for them to trade and harass this Pudge, especially with the Tar Bomb, and they're already putting a ton of damage into my up there. But the mid lane, managed to find the Observer Ward here on the SF. That'll give him a decent XP advantage, a reasonable amount of gold as well. And Observer taking a look down here in front. Back to the mid lane.
So
here.
one thing to notice, actually, they swapped their lanes. Punisher took the Void Spirit to the safe lane, and it's going to be Fumak on the Shadow Fiend mid.
The Tombstone does it again.
Okay.
This
top lane, yeah, the Tombstone making it work. He's got a salve here and a hook in a moment. If they actually manage to land this hook, that could be a dead Dawnbreaker, but she does have the Celestial Hammer, and the hook's not going to connect, so.
Yeah.
Dawnbreaker is plenty fine here.
Undying does hit level 2, so has Decay, gets the 2-man Decay off, and just can put the hurt into these heroes. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Raises coming off on the SF, but doesn't have a third one, unfortunately. Not quite enough mana, so they're forced to back off after taking a couple of tower shots. But Maritox getting bullied out again.
Yeah, I mean, the decision to lane swap here was so smart. Like, you just completely changed the lane dynamics. I actually played a safe lane Void Spirit earlier. That felt really strong. Top lane, they managed to take down Maya as he was chasing down the Clinks, and now looking at the Undying. I feel like it's just a matter of time. The Tar Bomb comes through. There's the Celestial Hammer, and the damage output from these two is enough as Sano gets himself a double kill on the Clinks.
Bottom lane, we got even more action. Bash after bash coming out, and auto attacks will finish him off. That double bash there really secured that one. Kind of unfortunate for Song, so need a little bit of saving grace here at Guatemala. So they need a miracle on their side. How much 70% can they get?
Yeah, absolutely. But I was gonna say I played a safe lane Void Spirit game earlier, and it felt actually very good. Like this hero is still just nuts, even played from the one. Like you just get early stats. And,
Have you seen his
do a
his
ton of
build right now?
damage. Yeah.
His Void Spirit, he's
Just-
got Belt of Strength, 2 circlets, 3 branches. He's got 80 damage here, 3 minutes in. Thank
Very
you very
cool.
much, Punisher. Yeah. Pudge is working on his Vanguard up here in the top lane. Unfortunately, still 600 gold away. I feel like this Ring of Health isn't amazing. Like, you're not going to have tons of sustain. This Dawnbreaker and Clinks do have the ability to 100-0. Mid lane, SF, and chase down underneath the tower.
It's a really nice
Getting
charge
armor.
dive here, and they got him. Yeah, Maritox does it. That's big. I mean, being able to find this kill early, maybe give a little bit of space to this bounty hunter, some good XP. He's gonna miss like half a wave here in this mid lane on the Shadow Fiend as well as it goes under his tower.
Look at this 1,000 net worth advantage right now for Team Guatemala. I mean, you said they needed a miracle. I think just last game they were off to such a bad start. This game, much better off.
Even the brightest of stars eventually burn
Yeah,
away.
much better off.
4
indeed.
minutes is a little bit early for me to be talking smack about how much better this game is, but I do feel like the start is much better.
Uh-oh. Gotta be careful with those raises. Now level 3, getting triple raised is pretty much your entire health pool here on the Bounty Hunter. He does have the infused raindrops and a magic wand, but it's still a ton of damage. I feel like Fumak is probably just going to go the right-click damage build this game. Like I said earlier, a Deso is going to go a long way in these matchups, but he might just leave that for the Void Spirit instead. Now that, especially since he's playing the one position, we could see a Void Spirit Deso.
Charge came out down the bottom lane, but mid lane is where the action was. Is Fumak managed to get those triple raises off again, like you mentioned. You have to watch out for that one.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, there's not going to be a lot you can do about this. Like, you got the kill on him early, but you're not going to be able to see as well as the Bounty Hunter in the lane. And the Shadow Fiend, with levels, continues to become more and more dangerous. Like, he's going to get his level 7, he'll get his 4th point in the raise, and at that point, it's really scary.
Yeah, at that point, I'm not sure he's going to be able to continue the lane. He's stepping out for now to refill his mana back in the base, but TP's back to the mid lane, and I imagine he's going to try to zone the Bounty Hunter out now.
Yeah, nice grab here in the bottom lane, trying to get aggressive on the Punisher, but single point living armor is enough to keep him alive.
It's not just that, you see how
Lotus here as
tanky this
well.
guy is? Look at his items.
1100 HP.
This Void Spirit, it's insane. Top lane. Soul Rip manages
Oh
to keep
my,
him
in
alive
trouble,
for now,
beat
but-
down by the Dawnbreaker, and they will turn their attention back to finish off the Tombstone. There's the medallion, man. I said it, as soon as you get the medallion online, it's so scary to play into this Clinks. And Pudge, you know, no Vanguard yet. So, I'm not sure if it was on Courier or something. It might have been. Yeah, it was. So he will have a Vanguard at least. Bottom lane, they're going to chase Songs here. Do they get the damage? They do. It will come out from Excelsius to find that kill.
Yeah. So, I just find another kill. Much more of a back and forth game than we saw previously. The charge is going to come out, so this time targeting except for the safe lane, but up the top lane, Zano getting run down here on the Clinks by this Pudge.
Yeah, that's the Vanguard reveal, but he does have a Celestial Hammer, and he will use it to help close the gap here onto the Pudge, and the Starbreaker finds the kill. Meanwhile, mid, it's another dive here onto the Shadow Fiend. Doesn't end up netting him anything, as again, 4 points raised now, very scary.
You can see while that action was happening, Pudge just get finished off up to the top lane. Did have the Vanguard, but his lack of boots just made it too easy for them to continue to chase him down, so Celestial Hammer and Starbreaker finished him off. Here in the mid lane,
Dire's top tower is
yeah,
under
just getting
attack.
zoned out so hard here on the Bounty Hunter. The CS really is struggling, less than half of that of the SF.
Radiant structures are fortified.
I mean,
Yeah, I don't know how.
7 minutes into the game,
this.
we did see SB pick up the Wisdom Room. The second one isn't being grabbed for quite a while. Clinks go grabs at the top part of the map, so
Dire's middle
ends up being
tower
1-for-1
is
this
under
game. They don't manage to get both, but not as on top of things this game in Ecuador. Back to tower bottom lane.
They're gonna go for a nice wrap around bottom. They managed to find the kill there, a track onto the Train Protector. It is a trade. Spirit Breaker will fall, and Venti taking a lot of damage as well.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Punisher will clean up the tombstone.
Dire's middle
Which,
tower
I
is
mean,
under
like you said,
attack.
this hero is so tanky at the moment. Just Power Treads, Bracer, the Magic Wand. Now gonna go for, of course, the classic Echo Saber.
Yeah. A little bit with the quarterstaff, so he's looking to do a little bit more damage, maybe clear out creep camps faster rather than going with the Ogre Axe first. But his first part of his treads was just the Belt of Strength. So like Belt of Strength, Bracer, stat items, Wand. Like, he's really pushing this universal hero thing to the limit here. SB charging in on the Clinks, and this is what we talked about, the counter to the SB.
Yeah, that, but also just the benefit of the Clinks too, right? They can just constantly play around each other. A DD here on the Shadow Fiend is going to be very scary for the Spirit Breaker, but luckily fast enough with just the phase boots in the windlace, he will get away. But your mid tower, not as lucky.
Dire's middle tower.
Dawnbreaker that picks that one up.
This Dawnbreaker has a
charge?
mech.
Oh my god, she has a mech and 20 charges on the wand too.
So they thought about committing onto that one. I mean, the ultimate of the Dawnbreaker was on cooldown. They see SF charging up his, the mechanism on the Dawnbreaker. They thought, oh yeah, we better not. We don't want to repeat of that last game.
Yeah, maybe not, maybe not. So 8 to 9, only a 4K gold lead here for Ecuador. I mean, in general, massive improvement over game one, right?
Yeah, they're doing a lot better than game one. Still not a position that you would want to be in, especially when you have like a punch carry. This is something that you want snowballing in the lane, but you know, CS advantage is real, even though kills are relatively similar. I think a lot of this comes down to like the SF versus Bounty Hunter lane, though. Like, you've come out so far ahead on the Shadow Fiend. The Bounty Hunter really got zoned out, wasn't able to CS. But that's just the case with like any melee hero.
Oh no, a little bit off the mark there with the hook, and with Sano here now. Plenty of damage from the Dawnbreaker. They get the minus armor onto the Spirit Breaker. It's a double kill. Oh boy. That is not looking good. Bounty Hunter here now. Level 6. I mean, you're the same level as enemy Clinks, and you are mid lane. That is not good.
Yeah,
But he will get his tracks off, try and do what he can here.
You can't do much, though. That's the thing. Like, this Dawnbreaker, again, has a mechanism, has a magic wand. Teammates relatively close by. Living armor you have to work with as well. He's just dropping that off on the Dawnbreaker. So, they're going to try to run Dawnbreaker down. Hook is off the mark, though, and instead they turn their eyes towards Clinks.
Yeah, that being said, they do, but Clinks also managed to just zone out the Bounty Hunter all on his own. There's going to be a dismember, but it's just too much damage. That double kill comes through, hitting 2 heroes with a triple raise. The Shadow Fiend is scary. He's just rushed the Blink Dagger this game. Yes. No way! He gets vision for just a moment. Triple raises the Spirit Breaker from the fog.
That's rough. That came out so quick.
Dire's top
SP
tower
just
is
dead in
under
an
attack.
instant there. How much magic damage? Yeah, it's like an instant, like 900 magic damage there. Diving a little bit far here on the Train Protector. He might. Yeah. He's absolutely punished for this one. I mean, you give up kills like this, you will swing back to the game on Guatemala. You've got a Bounty Hunter on your side. These track kills, they add up.
Yeah, absolutely. And Punisher is going to go the Echo Saber Deso build, so I like that a lot.
Yeah. I also enjoy that he just went for so many strength stat items at the beginning of the game that made him so difficult to gank. And a lineup that, I I mean, look what Guatemala had, like Pudge, SB, Undying, Bounty. These heroes just run at you. So going for those strength items, make yourself super difficult to kill at the beginning of the game as the carry, I think was an awesome move by Punisher.
Yeah, mid lane.
Speaking of
He
awesome
tried to get
moves.
aggressive here onto the Shadow Fiend, but with the Clink showing up, the Solar Crest Wand, that's the only thing you need on this hero. It's good enough.
And still no points of in presence of the Dark Lord, unfortunately. This game is just going to get harder once he gets more minus armor here.
Yeah.
Between that, Deso, and the Void Spirit, these heroes are just going to melt instantly.
Yeah.
And they're looking like they want to play this one super aggressive. We just see... Ooh!
Oh my goodness, so close to bursting her down, but a nice usage of the mech, and they will turn this on to the Clinks. Is Hero not going to connect. Dawnbreaker now showing up as Static will get found on the backside instead. He'll be the first to fall, as now the rest of Guatemala going to be forced to back on out of here.
Yeah, instead just play close to the tier 2 tower here. Getting close to the 14-minute mark, by the way. The second set of Wisdom Runes are going to be spawning in 30 seconds here. And
Dire's
so
middle tower
was that the
is under
Desolator
attack.
finish?
Punisher's
on
thinking of
Spirit?
sticking around for one. Yeah, they got him. Beautiful grab there and good placement from Punisher, just getting that Remnant out right away. And with those 2 kills, they also secure the Wisdom Rune. So more being denied away, as it's going to be Fumak who bottles it up and takes it himself instead of giving it on over to his support.
Well, looks like they're having a laugh about that one.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
And unfortunately, there's just not much they're able to do at this point. Again, they've just got massive healing from both the Chain Protector and the Dawn Breaker. Both with this mechanism, this Leech Seed, Living Armor. They still got one
A
point
lot of
Leech
tracks
Seed in
out.
Living Armor, though.
Yeah.
I mean, you got vision of them, but that vision isn't gonna... You can have all the information in the world. If you can't fight into them, it doesn't matter.
And Dawnbreaker is a gem now. They know exactly what's going on. They just picked one up, delivered it right away, and Naratox in some trouble. Knight's Arrow will catch them in a big overgrowth, but a Requiem from Fumak is there. It's looking rough here for Guatemala as they're going to be forced back to their base now. A hook will end up grabbing the Shadow Fiend, but that might be more than you wanted to buy. That's a little bit too big of a bite there, my friend. Punisher continuing to chase here, looking for Excelsius, and he will find him as well. Now it's time to leave the enemy base. 4 dead as Ecuador just proving how strong they are.
And they finish off. They finish off the tier 2 tower first. They were diving the enemy base before the tier 2 was taken down there, but yeah, took a bite of that SF, instantly regretted it, canceled it himself, and then decided to move back. But he's already too far forward at that point. Realized his mistake a little bit too late. And now it's looking a lot more like the last game. 14k net worth advantage here, 15 minutes in, and they have these heroes that are amazing at running at you, but we're getting to the point where the net worth advantage is just overwhelming.
Yeah, it absolutely is. Top lane, Static in some trouble here. Looks like he'll be fine, able to get away for the moment, but it's going to be the Clinks. Manages to find the Pudge, and there's the Dawnbreaker. That's what we were talking about, right? Like, this hero is just going to be running around the map invis, looking for his next victim, and he finds 2.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Things don't seem to be getting any easier for him. And yeah, they did pick up this very early gem. It was about like 5 minutes ago. Like, Yui is super rushed when they grab this thing, so it's just a sign that they're super comfortable with their position on the map and knowing, okay, if we can just box them in the base, we have constant vision everywhere. They could have wards. We'll be able to close this game out in the next like 10 minutes here. And it looks like that's like exactly what they're trying to do.
Yeah. The worst thing you could do would be like lose a fight because of like Moonlight Shadow and a bounty hunter that gets away, but you don't really have to worry about that now. And Punisher finishing up his Desolator is just going to be adding insult to injury. So we'll see just how much damage this guy's going to be doing. It would seem a lot with the minus armor is now there from the presence. I mean, Spirit Breaker forced back into the base, but just a few auto attacks, almost enough to kill him.
Dire's bottom tower is
Treant
under
manages
attack.
Oh,
to find the bounty
Songs.
hunter in the jungle here. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
he's
too
got
late
the
for him.
shard. Oh no. Now you have to worry about an invis tree and the clinks running around your map.
Yeah, nowhere is safe, and it just feels impossible to get a vision because of this early gem that the Dawnbreaker picked up.
Dude, is he just gonna dive the base
Dive
here?
in the base. now,
Punisher?
yeah. Does he
Do it.
survive this?
Yeah, he just
goes
does
for
not
another
care.
jump.
He's got the living
Celsius
armor on him, and
goes down as
Umok
well.
bottom lane.
Inst-
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's the
Yule's into the
Requiem play.
Requiem. Yeah. Instantly blown up, 100-0 on this Mirana. They managed to get that hook off onto the clinks, but so much healing coming out. They can't do anything.
Yeah. Dawnbreaker once
trying
again
their
joining the
damnedest,
fight,
but-
making it too difficult. They buy back on Static for this, but the Tombstone's fallen. Static just gets pulled right back in with the Remnants, and 2 are dead now. That's a dieback on your SB. And the mid lane falling just around the same time as it did last game. Songs having some fun there with the Overgrowth.
Bottom tower is under attack.
Playing some beats of his own, right? This could be would you say this is a song of his people?
I can't hear you over this Overgrowth. They're gonna be honest with you.
Oh, man.
And with that, they'll exit out of the base. I mean, everyone's sitting at full HP. Nice and pretty. 23k net worth advantage here. They've still got to take the outer tower up in the top lane before they can just go for every lane of racks. So they fake back, jump the bounty again. Looks like he gets hooked intentionally. He gets the Overgrowth off into 3 years because of it.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Sometimes you hook a hero, you think you're gonna find something, and instead it's the Uno reverse card, right? The Overgrowth onto all 3. Pudge goes down again, Bounty goes down again, and we're now at a 25,000 network disadvantage.
Yeah, Static is just charging up the top lane. I mean, he realizes the enemy team wants to go for this before they start moving up, and is doing his best to clear this out as quickly as possible, or do a little
Song's
bit of
gonna
damage to
find
shove the
him.
lane in. But yeah, Songs. I mean, trees don't move very fast, but they do in the woods here. If he gets the hit off on the wood,
Oh, dude, that
oh, good.
that punch was like millimeters away from locking down the Space Cow there.
Yeah, we're all good, man.
Didn't even flinch though, dude. What a Chad.
Is under attack.
Yeah, Static, not even worried. 20 minutes into the game, they go and they contest the Watcher right beside the Tormentor, and they looks like they got all 5 heroes grouped up for this one.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
This will be a solid 1,400 gold. Egg and Shard going their way as they clear this one out.
It's taking him a lot longer than this should. The
Oh,
Dawnbreaker's
no.
coming in. Oh no, indeed. The damage. The big Starbreaker onto 3. Can Mai get out? He will fall Static. Charge into the backside. It will be a Clinks. Just hold him in
SF just
place.
went into the base.
Wait, what?
He just blinked in. They're all dead. Absolutely disgusting coming in on that one. The Clinks setting all that up. The Dawnbreaker coming in. The heroes getting stunned and then just following up. They made a beeline over there, and all 5 heroes are dead.
Dire's
Top
bottom
tier
tower
2 is gone. Your bottom racks is gone. In fact, Punisher is just going for the tier 4s.
Dire's bottom barracks
He's looking to close this one out.
Yeah. He's got places to be, you know? He's a busy man. Blink, the Requiem catches Mai, and another kill there on over to the Pudge.
Dire's middle
As the
tower
throne is
has
exposed,
fallen.
they have no fortifications left. Song still playing the anthem of his people. He has a blink, goes in, has the Overgrowth, catches 3. The question is, who do they want to kill? It looks like it's going to be the Undying. They will buy back now on the Pudge. He's looking for a hook option. Doesn't get it. Spirit Breaker running for his life from this Clinks right now. This man is scared. Another pick off here at the base as Punisher just crushes this Undying. It's going to be a dieback, a nice dismember from Mai, but it's an ultra kill for Punisher. The man wants his Rampage.
I
He's
mean,
gonna
we
get
saw
it
him
now.
dive the fountain
Will they
last
give it to
game.
him?
He's gonna try.
Trumac's giving it to him. He's going to die in the base for it. Just in
No,
case,
he
but he gets the
didn't.
kill, and he
Look at
dies
the
instead.
guys.
Oh my god, baited by your own mid laner. What can you do?
is under attack.
Oh, I like that. Whoa, Harpoon Dawnbreaker. That is cool.
Radiant
There it is.
GG
GG comes out.
Goes down.
Yeah. Ecuador, pretty quick 2-0 today.
Not just this, two quick 2-0s today for Team Ecuador. Again, showing off their strength. They've got some amazing players on their side, super high MMR. I'm not surprised this ended up being the result, but game number 2, Guatemala put up a lot more of a fight in the laning phase before ultimately getting punished. I mean, again, the strategy looked absolutely amazing. They picking the Dawnbreaker and the Stream Protector against like this global kill potential squad. It was just an amazing counter in my opinion. Looks like may have lost Ricky here. Don't see him, unfortunately. I imagine he'll jump right back in. But yeah, amazing game there out of Team Ecuador, both those 2 games. But I'd say Punisher definitely the MVP, picking up all those early game strength items on the Void Spirit. He did such a good job of just making himself difficult to kill and played super well along the strategy of Team Ecuador of countering this global kill threat and run at you lineup that they had. Really did struggle here on game number 1. Or game number 2 rather. And I don't know, I imagine we got some highlights coming up pretty quickly here, but yeah, Song showing off his Stream Protector here. Not quite as good as his Techie's performance. Yeah, Song's imagine doing a decent job on this Stream Protector. Not as good as his Techies, but let's hop into I'm not sure if we got some highlights or something like that like we had last game. Yeah. So again, I'd say that a lot of this came down to the Shadow Pain, but let's just jump into the highlights right now while we wait for Ricky to come back. As we can see here, the beginning of this game, it was absolutely amazing. The Tombstone being dropped from the high ground. Unfortunately, had that level 1, but again, doing 1600 damage here at this level 1 fight was absolutely insane. Not only like the couple of kills they got, but everyone's starting with such low HP because of that. Over here, Venti, unfortunately, ends up getting chased down, kited by this Clinks here. This was a super strong lane just between the minus armor, the Tar Bombs. Put in a lot of work, but a lot more back and forth in this game number 2 than it was in game 1. SF obviously going down at the beginning of this game. They tried to drop a living armor on him to survive that, but you just can't deal with the Spear Breaker. He is pretty tanky, able to dive the tower, so they did find that 1 on the bounty hunter, but after that, I mean, just completely one-sided with how the CS was. I mean, at this point in the game, you see 37 to 17 between SF and bounty hunter. And as the lanes went on a little bit more, these heroes just start to fall off. You can't quite finish these heroes. Punisher obviously built tons of super tanky items, and it felt kind of pointless trying to run him with the SB and the Mirana. The top lane, Mai managed to find a couple of kills, but he does ultimately end up going down. In fact, he doesn't have boots, but yeah, dive after dive here. But eventually, it just kind of falls off. Not able to kill these important heroes here. And yeah, charges coming out onto the Clinks. And this is where we see like the strengths of these counters, like the massive heals coming out, that Dawnbreaker global, just being able to counter any sort of charges. And they try to come in onto the SF and the Dawnbreaker here, but at this point, way too tanky. They realize this Dawnbreaker's got the mech, 21 charges. There's nothing you can do, man.
Nothing indeed. Sorry about that, by the way, Neff. How you doing? I'm back.
Now that you're here,
I didn't try to just abandon you, at the end of the night. But
you're looking good, Ricky.
Technical difficulties, it happens. Sometimes your internet just gets forcibly restarted by your ISP, and you're just like, well, thanks, guys, appreciate that one. Very cool.
Well, what can you do?
It seems like another highlight reel here for Ecuador, right? For the most part, like these guys just absolutely crushing it. Once again here in game number 2, a better start from Guatemala, right, than what they had in game 1, but you see the MMR difference, right? The efficiency in farming, the rotations from the supports, the playing of like their timings is just it's so much better. Like the combos as well, right? The Clink's Dawnbreaker. It's not something you see all that often, but they make it look really strong.
Yeah. And again, it just became super hard to fight into these people and pick them off by themselves whenever you're worried about this Dawnbreaker coming with their ultimate and then following up with a mech. It's like, all right, we've got this run at you lineup with Clinks and Spearbreaker, but we can't find these solo pickoffs because of this global help that they have with Dawnbreaker and even Treant Protector. So the game eventually just got a little bit too hard for them, and they were never able to find these important kills. And I think that's partially due to how this Void Spirit ended up building up his hero. Again, just all these strength items in the early game, and then he went for the Midas armor and all this kill potential.
Yeah, it just looks so good on paper, like in the draft, looking at how this worked. I think the best thing that they did for them was swapping the lanes, like putting the Void Spirit safe lane, putting the Shadow Fiend mid, like just giving them a much better lane, you know, for both of these heroes, right? So if you have the Bounty Hunter versus Void Spirit matchup, maybe you slow down the Void Spirit a little bit. Maybe in the safe lane, like the Shadow Fiend doesn't have the best game, but I think overall Ecuador got everything they wanted out of it. And this is just, oh my god. Okay, I really want to see this the backside of this play, because I actually didn't see the Shadow Fiend.
So they start making a beeline for him. He's just running right for him right now.
They're already in the base. Like they're crushing the tier 3.
The top tower. Yeah, and then all of a sudden, all right, barely gets away. Dawnbreaker can't finish him off, and here's SF just finishing off all these heroes, kill after kill.
That's good stuff.
Yeah. And chasing the fountain, and here is the Rampage denial. Unfortunately, it looked like they were all gonna set it up for him. Jump into the fountain, finds the ultra kill, and goes, "Okay, one more, guys, please. I need this." He pops the Manta, and that causes him to de-aggro the fountain off onto the Void Spirit, who ends up going down. That game didn't last much longer after this one.
Yeah, it's good stuff, man. It's a lot of fun. I mean, this was just overall a really fun series to watch. And in general, like Ecuador, like we said, probably the favorites to come out from the Northern Cone qualifier. We already know that Nouns pretty much qualified already from North America. I think Canada like forfeited when they realized it was Nouns that they were going to be playing against. They're like, all right, never mind. Like, we don't even stand a chance. But for the Northern Cone, it looks like Ecuador is probably going to take this one. They've already 2-0'd their group, so Guatemala and Trinidad are out, I believe. And we still have a couple games coming up, which will be between Colombia, Honduras, and Costa Rica for Group B. So it's going to be pretty cool. See how that all plays out.
But yeah, we do have MVP of the game coming up here. Ricky, who do you think it was? Right.
I think it's Punisher.
You were wrong, Ricky. Whatever it was you were thinking, it was wrong. Oh my
god.
And it was Punisher.
I can't believe it. I can't believe I was wrong. No, I feel like this is fair. I think Punisher pretty nuts in both games. Safely and Void Spirit. I mean, just look at the 4 kills, 1 death.
Right, we're starting to lose Ricky already. Again, he's wrong. He's lagging. What he says doesn't matter. I'm obviously the star of the show. 24-1. This guy is absolutely insane. Again, I loved what he did with his Void Spirit. It was unreal. 38,000 damage as well. I mean, I'm not surprised. In game 1, we saw them try to target ban Punisher with all those heroes. I think we saw like 5-6 carry bans come out. This is why. I think going forward, this is somebody that everyone is going to be looking out for. So maybe the production here trying to do everybody a favor. Look out for this Punisher guy, all right? Can't let him pop off, have too good of a game. Yeah, so amazing job by Punisher on Team Ecuador. I'd say that, again, this is something you have to be looking out for the next couple of days. And unfortunate for them to lose 2-0, or sorry, 0-2 like that on Guatemala, but unfortunately for them to lose 0-2 like that on Guatemala, but it is what it is. You know, they put up a decent fight, and I feel like they played a little bit better as the series went on.
Yeah, at least my internet's only started having issues like once we were done with the end of the night, right? Could have been worse for sure. You know, great timing. Thanks Cox, appreciate it. So yeah, I mean, that's been fun though. That's the end of the night for us today, but we, like I said, we have a lot more games coming up over these next few days, and I think tomorrow's series will decide Group B. and that's going to be between Colombia, Honduras, and Costa Rica. We had a couple of reschedules as well, so we'll see those later in the week. But yeah, I don't know, man. What are you feeling? Who do you think from Group B, if you had to pick one, which of these three countries are you kind of leaning towards?
Group B. Is it North or South Cone? Speaking cones, not groups.
Still for North Cone. So that's going to be between Colombia, Honduras, and Costa Rica.
I would want to say Costa Rica. I still need to do a little bit more research on these teams. I was just kind of taking things day by day as I looked these teams up, but impressive showing today out of Ecuador, and I'm looking forward to what Costa Rica is able to do.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. It's been a fun day today, but again, we'll be back tomorrow with more Dota here on the IESF World Championship. My name is Cryptic. I'm here with Neff. We'll see y'all next time.
Give us more Dota tomorrow. Bye-bye.